Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. The show is about to begin.
Hello.
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 The anticipation. Hello,
Yeah.
Ritchie. How are you
Hey, Natalie.
doing?
I'm okay. A little sick, under the weather, but feeling a little better today than yesterday. So
Yeah.
hopefully we'll get through this no problem. But how are you doing?
Yeah, shame. Yeah, I'm good. I'm so sorry that you're not feeling all that great. After this long wait, we have to pick a day when you're not feeling so good. So sorry about
Yeah,
that.
it's
But
the way it goes.
I'm so glad that we are finally back, and I actually have a little bit of an elevated pass. I don't know how you are feeling.
But funny thing is this exact same time last year I was sick too. I don't know. Maybe it's just an annual thing. I don't know.
Wow, it sounds like it. Yeah, it's almost been a year since we've been here last. So we thought, let's get our juices flowing a little bit and the fingers warmed up, the voices oiled before we hit the real thing. I think there's quite a few people that are already that have joined in, which is obviously awesome. And we just thought we'll catch up a little bit. And I want to know, I have actually not spoken to you in months.
No.
And
Yeah, this
yeah,
is our
so
first conversation.
yeah, we've even been not censored, but we couldn't even in preparation for the show. We also haven't spoken, except for the odd
Yeah.
WhatsApp message. So
Yeah.
this is new and exciting, and I want to give a shout out to everyone who's joined in early. And
Yeah, there's quite a few, I think.
yes, I think so as well. We can have a look in the comments. So, I mean, this is just play, but already I want to just give out a warning. I haven't done this in a while, so my fingers are rusty, my brain's a little bit foggy, so there will be something that goes wrong. Hopefully, it's
Yeah.
now and not in the real show. But anyway, um, while I'm looking to switch over to the comments, I wanted to know from you, Richie. I mean, you've been super busy and have kept
Yeah.
all of us very busy with lots and lots and lots of blog posts and
Hmm.
photo walks, I believe. But I just thought I'll ask you, what was
Yes,
your
been a few.
favorite thing that happened this year?
Oh, wow. Yeah. So I think my favorite thing this year was I got to go up the east coast of America in an RV with my family, and we rented an RV. I can tell about the whole story, but I guess we should first say a hello to the Netherlands. Um,
Yes,
uh,
hello.
yeah. But yeah, so we found a good deal. It was like 75% off. We had to take the RV from Miami to Boston, and it had to be there by a certain time. And it would just happen to work out with our family, with our schedule, that we could do it. And so we flew to Miami, got in an RV, drove it all the way up. to Boston over a course of about 10 days, and got to see quite a bit of the side of America that we really haven't experienced yet. So it was really neat to be able to do that.
Oh, excellent.
But, 10
how many
days.
miles is that?
Oh, I don't even remember. Like, I seem to remember it being like 1,200 miles or something.
Wow. Okay.
But
Lots of
it
driving.
may have been a different number, but that's the number that comes to my mind. But yeah, the 4 kids plus my wife and I, the 6 of us going up the coast for 10 days in such a small space was really rewarding, and also we were excited to be done with it when it was done. So it was really good. All of it was really good. Just
Nice.
it was good to do it. It was good to experience it, and then it was good to be done with it and be back home. When it was over. So,
That's the best holidays, when it's like it's really good to be away, but then you're also really excited to be back. That's always the way it's supposed to be. Yeah, I did read that, and obviously we turned green with envy, because Stanley's most favorite way of transport would be in an RV or a camper van or something. So
yeah.
it's his big dream. So hopefully one day we can join in on the fun.
I definitely recommend it. I definitely recommend it to anyone who wants to do something like that. I think a week to 10 days is a good amount of time. If you do it for too long, you might get tired of it after a while. But it was a super cool experience. I don't know if I'll ever have a chance to do that again. It's something we'd wanted to do for years. It just never worked out. And and the surprising thing to me was the camera that I ended up using the most on that trip was actually the X-Half. I had the GFX 100 S2, I had the X-T5, I had the X100 but the one that I always seemed to grab, for especially for snapshots and stuff, was the X-Half.
Yes, nice. That's really interesting that it turned out like that you had that camera with you. But I'm sure that the opportunities were endless. I mean, with so many different sceneries and landscapes to drive through. While you were talking, I just saw this comment from Jerry, and we kind of like just ghosted him.
No, we don't want to do that.
So I just wanted to acknowledge, thank you, Jerry. I will share it eventually. I can't just yet. Let's put it this way, without sounding too ominous about it. But you just have to keep following and reading. I will definitely share it when the time is right. I hope it will be soon.
Awesome.
And there's Torsten from Germany joining. Excellent. Enjoy your supper. Thank you so much for making time for us at the same time. And speaking of time, we are in this weird time again where it's like different times for everyone, and we clearly got very confused at some point. So apologies for everyone for confusing you and us at the same time. We were actually.
Well, I think what makes it confusing is that it's not so much confusing for you and I, but it's confusing for everybody else. And where it becomes confusing for us is trying to figure out how that affects everybody else. Because in South Africa, you guys do not do the daylight savings time, right? You're just constant year round the same time, right? And it's the same thing in Arizona, where I am, right?
Yes.
And so it's everybody else in the whole world that's doing this time dance in the summer and winter and so forth. And so we're trying to figure out, okay, where's our place within that? And then we screwed it up. And then in my blog post, for some reason I said PM instead of AM. I really screwed it up.
Yes. So thank you for making it here. We understand that you possibly had to jump through a few hoops to navigate it. Yes. But it just goes to show that if you do something not constantly on a regular basis, you get rusty and you just remember, oh yeah, I quickly need to do this. And then it's not so quick. And there's other things that you forget that you also always used to do. So, yeah, but here we are, back again. We would love to hear from you guys, where you're watching from, who's all here, what familiar faces are. Maybe there's someone who's new to the show. It's been a while. I wouldn't blame anyone for thinking that this is the first time we're doing this and not knowing that we've done this for 4 years.
I think so. Yeah, it's been a little while.
Bar this last one. But yeah, we've been talking film simulation recipes for a very long time. And
since before they were cool.
Yes, true that. Yes, very much true that. I remember we used to speak about the fact that we don't understand why Fujifilm is not grabbing onto this idea and why there's not more happening. And time again, we had this conversation during our shows, and we're like, what can we do? Fujifilm, are you listening? Are you watching? What's going on? Mm-hmm. And now, now everyone's talking about it, which is fantastic. And Pete's also here. We haven't seen you in a long time as well. It's great. Thank you so much for tuning in. Lots of familiar faces, which is fantastic. So you haven't forgotten about us, which is great. I was really worried that everyone would have moved on. But thank you for coming back and tuning in.
Yeah,
That's
hopefully
really...
in the future, a whole year doesn't pass before we do the next show,
Yes. No, we will make a plan that this is going back to a schedule how it used to be. It's just 2025 was just a different kind of a year. And schedules didn't align, and many things happened that kept us busy and away from the show. But yeah, this is the first step in the right direction to new beginnings, right?
Yes. Absolutely.
Exactly. Fabulous. So I'm really looking forward to talking about all the things that we've got lined up. We want to focus, like we've advertised, mostly around this film simulation dials, and we are really excited to hear what you guys all think about it. So yeah, get your fingers warmed up so that we get lots of comments from you and hear different opinions.
It's a very controversial feature, so I expect a wide range of opinions, from I absolutely hate it and it doesn't make any sense to me to I love this, where's it been all my life, and everything in between,
Yes, yeah, absolutely. I'm really hoping for that too, as long as we play nicely. Anything goes, and it will be nice to get lots of different opinions from all sides. All different countries, different people, obviously, depending on what you do. There will be more or less benefit for you. But lots of familiar faces popping up. Hi, Joe. It's really nice of you to join us as well. And Joss, who's also here. Hello. Very good to see you as well. Nice. Excellent. Yes, a filmmaker. So maybe we can also hear from the video side of things.
Yeah, and I'd be curious what Pilot P thinks of the Eterna 55.
Yes. Yeah, maybe we can...
a filmmaker camera.
Yes, maybe we can discuss that towards the end of the show. That would be cool. So there's a little bit of a forewarning and time to think about that. Well, I think we are going to wrap this up and going to, go back and put this thumbnail back on and going to go into main show mode and film simulation dial.
And be in color.
And be in color, exactly. Yeah. And then we will be right back with you guys. So stick around, fill up your glasses or plates or whatever it is that you've got in front of you, and we will be back with you shortly.
Okay.
See you on the flip side, Ritchie.
Yep.
Hello,
We're
and a
back.
very good evening or good day to everyone, and to you, Ritchie. How are you today?
Well, still feeling a little sick, but hanging in there and excited for the show and excited for everybody who's tuning in and those who will watch it later. And can't wait to talk about the film simulation dial. That is a favorite topic of mine, believe it or not.
Excellent. So, for anyone who is only joining right now and has missed our little pre-show chat, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being here with us today. If you missed the chat, go back after the live stream is finished and catch up with us, where we just had a little bit of a casual warm-up chat because we haven't done this in a long time. If you're new here, we do this live show. We used to do this live show once a month. We've had a bit of a break for a couple of reasons, but we're super excited to be back. We've been doing this for many years. We talk about everything and anything, film simulation recipes, anything that helps you to get more out of your Fujifilm gear and to shoot straight out of camera. And like Ritchie said today, we are going to speak about the film simulation dial mostly. We'll look at the benefits. We'll have a look at, what you can do with it. Maybe some tips also from Ritchie as to how you can use it better. We want to hear from you if you like it, if you use it. Do you have a camera that has the film dial? And then we're also going to dive into a couple of recipes and hear more from Ritchie as to his thoughts and work behind the scenes before he got this all up and ready for the app. And and what we really want to do is hear lots from you about this particular topic. So we've hopefully have given you a little bit of time to get used to the commenting. Your fingers are warm. You're all ready to go and dive into this live show. And
basically, we want to help you get the most out of it. That's what we want to do. Is a lot of people get it on their camera and they're like, okay, this is cool, but how do I use this to my benefit for my photography? And that's what we want to answer for you today.
Yes, exactly. And just a little bit of a warning. We haven't done this in a while, and I've got quite a few buttons here in front of me and other screens and whatever that are a little bit distracting. So it is very likely that something will go wrong. I will push some wrong button or something, so please bear with me. But it wouldn't be a live show if that didn't happen. So things are pretty good. We started out with having sound, so that's usually something that goes wrong right at the beginning of the show. So I'm very hopeful. And it's super exciting to have you all here. Let us know where you're tuning in from. Are you here for the first time? What's happening in your land of Fujifilm and Fujifilm cameras? While we are, just giving YouTube a bit of a chance to catch up with all the comments. Maybe there is some new stuff that we haven't seen yet. We always, the comments come in a little bit behind, so we're just trying to give you a chance. See, there we go. New York is also tuned in. Hi, Dan. So good to to see you here as well.
Oh,
I know it's probably a bit of a late breakfast time for some people, or in New York's probably lunchtime. I'm not quite sure.
yeah. And Dan, I don't know if any of you guys follow Dan on Instagram, but he did a big road trip or a bunch of traveling out west recently, and it's been exciting to see his photos from his adventures. So if you haven't checked out his photos, make sure you do so.
Yes, absolutely. I can vouch for that too. It is really nice to follow, all the different people actually that we've been getting to know over the years, and post regularly. Not like what I have not done this last year. But anyway, be that as it may, let's have a look at the film simulation dial. Should we hop in? Are you ready, Ritchie? You're feeling good?
Let's do this.
Excellent. Let's do this. Fantastic. Okay, so like we said, the film simulation dial, it's been out for quite some time. It's caused a stir here, there, and everywhere. And I think came a little bit out of nowhere, for me at least. Like we were saying in the pre-show just now, we have been doing this for so many years, and Ritchie so nicely put it, like we were chatting about film simulation recipes before they were cool. And out of the blue, from the outside at least, Fujifilm came to the party and then all of a sudden released a camera with a film simulation dial. So and that was now a year and a half ago, and since then there are 4 cameras now that style a film simulation dial, and it looks like it's a feature that is here to stay. What do you think, Ritchie? Do you think it's something that will stick with us now for good?
I think so. And so the first camera that had the dial was the X-T50, and Fujifilm actually had sent me a copy of that camera before it was announced, and maybe a couple weeks before it was announced. And when they do that, they don't send you, and you may have experience with this, Natalie. They don't send you the manual or anything like that. It's just this camera, and you're like, okay, well, how do I use this? How do I set it up? And it had this, film dial on top. I'm like, okay, well, what is this? How does it? So I'm playing around with it, and my initial thought was, this is kind of a silly thing, right? And I think that was a lot of people's reactions to it. It's like, well, this isn't practically beneficial to me. And so basically I set out to find a way to use the feature in a, like with any tool, you have to figure out a way to make it work for you. Like how can I make this beneficial to my photography? So I set out to do that. And that's when I created the film dial recipes, which I'm getting a little ahead of myself here, but
I can tell you were excited. That's perfectly fine. So I think that's cool. We'll jump in there right now. I just wanted to give someone a chance. If they have some quick comment about this, we will, once we've talked about the recipes as well and stuff, we will definitely open the floor for everyone to chip in. But just quickly, Torsten does not like the dial because it took away other functions.
So like the X-T50, of course, X-T50 was a new line. It didn't replace an old line, so it didn't necessarily technically replace anything on that camera. On the X-T30 III, it does. It replaced the drive dial, right? Mm-hmm. That was on there, and assuming that if there had not been a film dial on the X-T50, it would also have been a drive dial. On the XM5, I assume that it would have been more like the XS10, XS20, where it would have been an unmarked dial that was default set to film simulation. So that wasn't really much of a change there. And then on the XE5, it's a whole brand new thing that doesn't replace anything. So it kind of depends on how you look at that. But I know that some people really like the drive dial. It's kind of been a standard feature on like the XT double-digit line. And I guess the way that I look at it is that now the drive dial is a drive button like the X106, X Pro, that line of cameras. It's worked well on that line, so I don't see why. Personally, I don't see why it would be a big deal to have something like that on another line. But I totally understand that people use their cameras in a certain way and expect it to function in a certain way, and would not be happy to have something that they use all the time replaced by something else. So I totally get that, why that would be upsetting to some people to have that one feature that they do use removed and put differently into the camera and replaced with a different feature.
Yeah. Yeah. So Dan is saying that he thinks it would be perfect for his teenage daughter, for someone who's new to photography, doesn't need to or want to dive into menus and wants a quick access to, film sims and recipes, etc. And I think that's probably also where Fujifilm's coming from, because a lot of people are new to Fujifilm and they want to put their film simulations front and center. Now that we've been speaking about this for 4 years, it's about time that they hop on the bandwagon and have realized how good and how special this actually is. But I think I want to just pause here for a moment. Thank you guys for your comments. We're just going to have a look as to what prompted Ritchie to go into this exercise of making a whole set of recipes. So I'm just wanting to quickly hop in here. This is not the first article, but this is the one that we are going to look at as far as the recipes are concerned. I think when you started speaking, Ritchie, you were, saying how the X-T50 prompted you to, try and create a set of recipes that makes use of this dial. Because I think it's quite nice that how you're saying, like, well, there's a different tool now. Let me see, what can I make of it? How can I use it? And this is what we want to have a look at today. We're going to go into this with an open mind, and we're going to just see, without judging, what can it do? What do we think Fujifilm was thinking with this? And I want to hear, what possessed you to go into this crazy exercise of creating so many recipes around the style that it can be used, for your benefit.
Yeah. So I think, going back to Dan's comment, I think that he's pretty much right on. Maybe Fujifilm wasn't thinking of the 17-year-old daughter, but maybe they were thinking about the person who's new to Fujifilm, who's maybe new to photography. Maybe this is our first camera, and they're thinking, I'm going to take one of our most beloved features, and I'm going to prominently put it on the camera for people to explore. And I know that has happened. There's somebody who on one of the photo walks told me that he'd owned Fujifilm cameras actually for years. And he had gotten the X-T50, and he never used recipes or anything like that, raw shooter. He always kept it on Provia, like so many, but the dial on the top kept kind of catching his attention and catching his interest. And so then he started playing around with it, and he's like, oh, I actually like classic chrome. I like actually, I think classic negative was the one that really got his attention, that he wouldn't have tried otherwise if it hadn't been on the dial. And then trying that led him to using recipes. So it ended up being a journey for him, just for the fact that it was on the top. And I think that's what Fujifilm's initial intention was. And so I said already that they had sent me the camera before it was announced. And then a little while later, after it was announced, they asked me, well, what did you really think about it? Because we didn't think, and this isn't Fujifilm corporate, this is Fujifilm North America. But they were like, we didn't think you would actually like it. Like, when we saw this new feature on the camera, we thought, Ritchie's not really going to like this that much at all, because it's not necessarily intended to be used with recipes. But I said, well, I actually do like it, because initially I didn't. But then once I figured out how to make it work for me, then it actually opened things up a lot. And you can get a wide array of picture aesthetics on your camera, straight out of camera, that you weren't able to necessarily get otherwise without having to change out your recipes, right? So I made the X-T50 film dial recipe, which is similar to what we're going to be talking about with the universal negative. This was the original recipe, and what I designed it to do was it was a set of settings that would look good with any film simulation, no matter what film simulation you chose. When you have a recipe, a lot of times it'll look good with one film simulation, and then you change the film simulation to something else and it doesn't look good. And a good example of this is a few years back, Omar Gonzalez had published a video where he was trying out different film simulation recipes, but he accidentally used, let me see if I can get this right. He accidentally used classic chrome instead of classic negative with one. I think that's what it was. He used the wrong film simulation, and his audience caught it right away that he used the wrong one, and it just didn't look good. And so that's an example of, you use the wrong film simulation with the recipe, you change the film simulation, and it just doesn't give the same results. And I wanted to have a recipe, though, that would work well with all the film simulations, and that was a challenge. But I also wanted the recipe to be very versatile, right? Not necessarily to be film-like, although it can be, but just to have ultimate versatility. Like, this is going to be the ultimate recipe for everyday use that you can use with any film simulation, and that's what the X-T50 film dial recipe is. And then later on, I decided that I wanted to make a recipe that was similar, but was more film-like, more analog looking, and that's where the universal negative recipe that we're going to be talking about today came from.
Yes. Thank you so much for giving us a little bit of a backstory and insight to this. I know that, in this article, you go into length, so feel free to scan the QR code or to, go into the link that we've posted in the comments to read up all about it. It's really interesting. And, you mentioned a couple of other things that I guess prompted you and helped you in the process of actually getting to the point where you then said, yeah, actually, let's make this set of recipes. So, so let's go and have a look at what this actually is, because like you said, you've created 14 recipes with one set of settings, but simply the film simulation is different. So tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so all the settings are the same. Like, you don't change any setting other than the film simulation. So if you were to put it into your C1 through C7 custom presets, you would pick one of the film simulations that's not on the dial. And depending on what camera you have, that might be different. But for example, Eterna is not on any of them. So you could pick Eterna as your film simulation that you program it in to your C1 through C7. And then when you have that set, let's say you put it as C2, when you go to C2 and then you take the film dial and you take it out of the C position, which is off, and you change it to whatever film simulation, if you want a Provia, if you want a Velvia, if you want a classic chrome, Reala Ace, whatever it is, you then turn the film dial to that position, and that changes the look of it, but the only setting that's changing is the film simulation.
Okay, so for all the people I know there've been a lot of people who said, we need more C1, we need an extended C1 to C7 menu because 7 is just not enough. Well, now you have lots and lots more. So you should all be very happy about that. And yeah, I mean, it opens endless opportunities to, to just at the spur of the moment dial in a different film simulation. And I guess you're absolutely right when you say it inspires to experiment with the different film simulations and to use them more. And this is, I guess, exactly what has been intended, that you use all the different film simulations, that you discover something that maybe you have not used before, and fall in love with more than just classic chrome or something.
Yeah. And what's really cool about this recipe is and also the film dial recipe, is you don't actually have to have a camera with the film dial to use it. For example, the universal negative one, I didn't use a camera with a film dial. I used my X106 and programmed the on the lens, I forget what they call it. Normally I think it's default set
dial.
to
The ring, the
around
focus,
the lens,
the focus ring, the command ring or something. Yes.
I think it's default set to do the digital teleconverter, but you can map it to be whatever.
Yes.
So
yes.
I mapped that to be film simulation. So I turned the ring on the lens to change the film simulation.
Yes.
The advantage of doing it on a camera with a film dial is you actually get to see what it is. It physically is shown, and you can do it before you even turn the camera on if you wanted to. Like you could just change it to, like, you're going to be using classic negative, so you just turn it to classic negative. If you don't have a film dial camera and you do this technique, it'll start off with whatever film simulation you have programmed into that recipe. Let's say it's Eterna, and then you have to change it to classic negative each time that you power on the camera, power it off. So there is an advantage to doing it on a camera with a film dial as opposed to a camera without it. But the point being that no matter what camera you have, you can use a recipe like this.
And this is exactly why I was so keen on talking about this, because it is accessible to everyone. So it's not only the people who have cameras with film simulation dials. And so even though you may not like the dial and you don't have a camera that has a dial, but you can still use the recipes, and you can join in our challenge, and you can, tell us what you think about the recipes without all the other hassle. I know this is probably a lot, and if we are going too fast or going into too many details, then we're happy to run through this again when we open up the comments.
Yeah, definitely ask questions.
Yes, absolutely. Especially, how to set it on, cameras without the dial. But let's just have a look. So we know now that, you rose to the challenge of making use of the film dial, and, how, quickly accessible it is. You made this recipe. Did you make it on the X106 or at least on an X-Trans 5 camera? But
yeah.
we can also use it on X-Trans 4. So
yeah, just the only difference is with X-Trans 4 sensor is on classic chrome, classic negative, Eterna, and Eterna bleach bypass. For whatever reason, Fujifilm made the blues render a little deeper in those, and so you just have to know that the blues will be slightly less deep, I guess, on X-Trans 4.
Yeah. So, for all of this, it's really good for all those extra tips for everyone to go and read the article to make sure that you know exactly what to do and not do before you set out and start using the recipe. But basically, this is the whole set of recipes. They all have a name. They all are on the app. And since yesterday, you can also search for the set. In the app.
I added the word universal, to the title of it. It says universal negative now. So yes. if you put in the search in the app, universal, it'll come right up.
Yes. So because at the end of the day, what you're trying to, what we've often discussed is that once you've taken photographs with a recipe, you not necessarily know anymore what recipe you shot with. So different people have different methods of doing this, of making sure that they keep track of what recipes they've used. Obviously now, when you can switch a recipe so quickly and easily, it can be even more confusing afterwards if you want to keep track of what recipe you shot with. So what I always do is that I go into Ritchie's app and I pull up which recipe that I'm shooting with, and then I take a picture of my phone with this recipe, and then I start shooting with the recipe, and that way I always know what I was shooting. And if you now search for Universal, they all come up because they all have different names, so you don't necessarily associate, or it's, you know, maybe difficult to keep track of the name of the recipe. So you can now check all of that out and study them by their names if you wish, but so that you can just have a little bit of system in your shooting if you want to do so. Yeah, and if you scan the QR code, you'll get to the app. If you don't have it yet, definitely download it, install it, and use it. It's brilliant.
Well, thank you.
And we've just put together a couple of sample pictures that, you know, Ritchie and I have been shooting with to give you an idea. It's obviously a smorgasbord of colors and, you know, black and white contrasts and whatever, but I think it's just to show that anything goes. They, you know, only because they're so accessible and so quickly changeable with film simulation doesn't make them any less brilliant to shoot with. But there's obviously a lot to choose from. So I was wondering, Ritchie, do you have some favorites?
Oh yes. I think you know, I was actually surprised. You know, a lot of people shoot Provia. You know, especially people who don't use recipes. You know, a lot of people say they never use film simulations. They use Provia. You know, which I find humorous, but you know, with this recipe, you know, Provia is not one of my favorite film simulations. I don't use it very often, but with this recipe, it is one of my favorites, and I think it turned out really well. So that the classic negative, the Eternal Bleach bypass, so which is called Chrome City, it's actually really good. Yeah, those are some of my favorites, I think. How about yourself? I was going to ask you that question.
Sorry, I just wanted to go back and just quickly show you. So this is the Chrome City image, just to give you a bit of a bigger view of some of the images, because obviously what we put together are just small thumbnails. The idea is that we will put them on the SOC website also, so after the show you can go have a look, well, from tomorrow, if you want to dive a little bit deeper into this. And then I've also pulled this one. I wasn't sure which ones were your favorites, but I just pulled these.
No, that's good. That's a classic negative, the Superior 200.
So I'm a sucker for classic neg. Always, it always grabs my attention. I absolutely love the reds and blues in this. So I will always gravitate towards it. Always. And even when I don't know at first, I look at an image or a recipe and I see the pictures. It's just like, that's my jam. I absolutely love it. And and what else? To be very honest, I don't think I've done the set of recipes justice, because there are just so many, and to really get to, to use them, you just need a bit of time to get into them. But I definitely also like the Provia. I do like the nostalgic neg version, and classic neg. So these are the ones that I'm kind of like, I was drawn to, so those were the ones that I looked at the most at first. But there's lots of interesting stuff to choose from.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
so like if you have this recipe programmed into your camera in like in your C1 through C7, and then you also have the film dial, the X-T50 film dial recipe programmed into there, and those take up 2 of your C1 through C7 slots. I mean, that's 28 between the 2 of them. That's 28 different aesthetics that you can have available to you in your camera at any time, just from those 2 recipes.
Yeah, so that's obviously,
you were saying for those who didn't want, for those who thought C1 through C7 wasn't enough, these recipes just blow it all wide open, area.
Yes, absolutely. And yeah, I like the choice that you're given. At the same time, I don't think that even you, Ritchie, would intend to go out on a day trip or even for a weekend try and shoot with every single one of them.
No.
Or would you?
No, but having those available to you. So an example of this is when I went to, with my XE5, I went to the Mission San Xavier in Tucson. It's a historic mission built in like the early 1700s, I think, and which is historic for here. And I know some parts of the world I would be like, well, that's brand new. For here, that's pretty old. And I had the recipe, and the film simulation that I ended up going with was Eternal Bleach Bypass, which wasn't what I would have expected to use, but it looked really good in that situation, in that scenario. And the film dial doesn't have all the film simulations on it, but they do have FS1, FS2, and FS3 where you could put in your favorites that aren't on the dial. And I had Eternal Bleach Bypass as one of those, so I had access to it, and I was able to choose that. Now, on the way there, planning it out and stuff, I probably wouldn't have thought to use that particular film simulation. But once I got there and I was going through the different film simulations on the dial, and I got to that one, I'm like, no, this is the right one. And so even though I didn't use all of them that were at my disposal, I used Eternal Bleach Bypass. It's just for the fact that I had that available allowed me to use it.
Yeah, and I think that's where the fun comes in, and this is why we thought, let's use this set of recipes as our recipe for the month, as the challenge to open it up to you guys and choose or experiment rather with the recipes and see which ones you like, which ones work for you, whichever technique you use in the end is, it needs to work for you, and you need to have fun with it. So it doesn't really matter. And yeah, you have lots and lots to choose from now. And still, when you have done so, we still open up the your upload folder so you can share those pictures with us, and you can.
And we're always excited to see those.
Yes, absolutely. It will be, just the breadth of a spectacle of colors that we are hoping to get back, and see what kinds of recipes people have chosen. Lots of different ones, or the same. It will be really interesting. So yeah, this is what we have planned, what we want to achieve with this. But other than that, we are really keen to hear from you guys what you think of the dial, of the recipes, and if you've used, maybe you've used the recipe already. I mean, it is not brand new, and maybe you've got a camera or you don't have a camera. Maybe you now definitely want a camera with a film dial. Let us hear your thoughts. What do you think about all this? And while we're getting this ready, I think there's a serious storm that broke out, Bas. I hope that the sound that's coming through my mic isn't too bad. I'm not quite sure. I can't really judge. But that's the problem. We've had lots of storms every single day. And yeah, I was hoping that tonight the weather would skip, but I don't think so. So if it's really noisy, I'm sorry.
No.
But yeah, here we are. So I think there are a couple of people who've been, been giving us comments about the experiences. So we're just getting those up and ready.
I'm excited to see these.
Yes, I think the person behind the scene that is helping with the comments just had to do a little bit of soundproofing with the weather. So
oh, that's all right.
Just give us.
That's all right. I didn't know we were stalling.
Yeah. Well, I'm
That's
glad
all right.
that you.
So yeah, we could talk about some more stuff. For example, like so the X-T50 and the XM5 film dials have 8 film simulations plus FS1, FS2, FS3 that you can put in whatever film simulation was left off that was your favorite. And I like that it has 8. The XE5 and the X-T30 III only have 6 and not 8. And the ones that they left off were classic negative and nostalgic negative. And I think that was a big miss on their part. And I hope Fujifilm, if they happen to watch this show, that they will not do that in the future and include, especially classic negative. Classic negative has to be on the film dial, in my opinion. You have to put it on there. And I understand you could put it in FS1 if you want or whatever, but it needs to be on there. And then another thing I would like to see is that each position on the dial, not just FS1, FS2, and FS3, should be able to program a recipe. So on the Velvia, you should be able to program a Velvia recipe. On the classic Chrome one, you should be able to program in a classic Chrome recipe and choose if you want the recipe or not want the recipe and toggle it on or off.
Yes.
And then also to bring in the ability to save recipes into FS1, FS2, and FS3 to the XT50 and XM5. So I don't know if anybody from Fujifilm will ever watch this video, but if they do, that's my message to you is to do all that.
Yeah. Well, who knows? We've been for 4 years. We've been speaking about recipes, and eventually they did listen. So it's possible. So I totally agree that that you mustn't leave out classic neg, and the whole thing is very customizable with or without the dial and so forth. But from the get-go, it should give you a good starting point. And I was just wondering why they chose to go with 8 or 6. Why they didn't go with all of them or make them all customizable. I just thought that was really interesting, especially when they cut it down to 6. What the issue with this was?
Yeah,
or what
it was
the
very
thinking behind it.
Yeah, it was very confusing. I asked somebody at Fujifilm, not corporate Fujifilm in Japan, but Fujifilm North America, and the answer I got was that they didn't have room to put all of them in, and so they had to exclude some, and so they went with what they thought were the most popular. And of course, if for those using recipes, classic negative is one of the most popular, so it's just really strange that they didn't include it.
Yeah. Okay, we've got the comments.
Yes.
There was, I said something would go wrong, so there was a little bit of a glib there. So Joe's asking, all the universal negative recipes use the same recipe values except for film simulations. Correct.
That is correct.
That is
yes.
correct. Yeah. And yeah, perplexed is a good word that you could use for some of the emissions. Absolutely. Yeah.
To me, I don't know. Nostalgic neg, I like it a lot, and I guess I can understand just kind of, sort of, still perplexed by it, but I can understand its omission. But classic negative, to me, that was not. There's no excuse for not including that on it, in my opinion.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I take that personal. Okay, there's Torsten, who doesn't like the dial and wants obviously also a more classic look, a more classic usage of the camera. Sometimes we don't like change, so yeah, it's totally understandable that we fall in love with Fujifilm.
I would be very surprised if Fujifilm ever replaced like an ISO dial or shutter speed dial or exposure compensation dial with a film dial. To me, that would make zero sense, and I don't think they'll do that. I could see them doing something like the XE5, where it is a whole new dial placed somewhere on the camera.
Yeah.
Not necessarily replacing something, but as a brand new tool added to what's already there. And I could see them doing that with the X-T5 or the X, or especially the X Pro. So,
Yeah.
and I don't know what there's word on the street is that not anything I've heard of any inside information that I have, because I have none. But if you go to the rumor sites and that kind of stuff, you can get the X Pro may have something called a film era dial, where instead of picking the film sims, it'll have like 1970s or 1980s or something along those lines. But it's still very much unknown and just rumors and word on the street and that kind of stuff. But it'll be interesting to see what they do with that.
Yeah, I also think that it's definitely something that will find its way into as many cameras as they can fit it without upsetting the apple cart too much. I absolutely love the dial on the XE5. I think what they did there was really brilliant. It looks good and it doesn't take away from anything else. So hopefully they will go with that for especially the X Pro.
Because even if you hate it and you don't want anything to do with the dial, you just put on C and then that's the end of it. C is off. So.
Yes. So it'll be interesting. Hi there, Antonio from Brazil. Thank you so much for tuning in. That's brilliant. I think it's really early by you, but I might be mistaken. Is it? Hello.
Yeah, it might be.
Hello, Rashida and Hattie. It just feels really far away, but then again, it's probably not further than where you are, now that I think of it.
Yeah, and
anyway.
That's the crazy thing about this show is it's all over the world, and people get up early in the morning to tune in. People stay up late at night,
Yeah.
And it's always an honor to have that, that people take time out of their day to listen to us go back and forth about Fujifilm settings and that kind of stuff. So
yeah.
We're very glad that you guys have tuned in, and it's, if we're helpful to you in any way, that's just makes our day.
Yes, we do. It's absolutely fantastic and a lot of fun, and it's so good to be back. And Joe says he uses the Q menu to quickly switch between the recipes on the X-T5, which is that's brilliant. That's really
and I don't know if you guys have ever done this, but if you can customize the the cameras that have the rear command dial, which is most of them, you can customize that and map it to be whatever you want. When you press it in, it's under the function settings, and you can make that to be the custom settings. So the way it works, when I do that, is you press it in and it opens up C1 through C7, and then you just scroll through them and then select which one you want. And it's a little quicker than going through the Q menu.
Yes, that's brilliant. That way you don't even need to pause and take your eye off the viewfinder. You can just with a little bit of muscle memory just switch recipes while you're shooting.
Now, if you use that button for something else, obviously that don't work for you. But for those that maybe don't use that function, that's a quick way to do it.
Trust Torsten to venture into the topic that we have not mentioned, not even in the pre-show, with AI. It's a very different topic altogether. But I think I personally, maybe it's wishful thinking, but if you don't mind for me to answer here quickly, I think that with so much AI coming up and so much, fake this and fake that, and you don't anymore what to believe, that, the whole SOC, straight out of camera, authentic analog photography becomes more and more valuable, because people want, AI has its place and there's good things about AI, but when it comes to, everyday photography, you don't want it. You want it as authentic as possible. And I think that, only gets pushed the more fake stuff's out there, the more people want that. But that's just my humble opinion. What do you think, Ritchie?
Yeah, I think that, where AI could have a place in the camera is like autofocus, maybe. A lot of people are like, Fuji needs to step up their AF game and be like Sony and Canon and Nikon, and I always explain to people, like, well, Sony and Canon and Nikon have been making AF cameras for a lot longer than Fujifilm. They have a lot more experience to fall back on. They have bigger budgets. They have larger research and development teams. The talent is easier. It's easier for them to attract the best talent in that field. So Fujifilm will always be a step behind in that, and it is kind of silly to expect them to be at the same level. And even in some cases, those companies have prioritized autofocus not just instead of IQ improvements, image quality improvements, but they have done it to the detriment sometimes of image quality, and that's something I would I would have Fujifilm avoid in general. But I think with AI, that could potentially level the playing field for those who want Fujifilm's autofocus to get to a Canon or Sony level, that maybe AI is the vehicle that allows that to happen. And Fujifilm is supposedly already doing that. And then white balance, maybe, understanding different light scenarios. So maybe you could get more accurate auto white balance, utilizing AI. And those are things that Fujifilm has already begun to implement. And I don't know if we've really seen them take full advantage of that. But I think outside of those types of things, we don't want anything that makes our pictures fake. We want the images to be authentic, and that's a big part of straight out of camera photography, is we're not manipulating them, we're not photoshopping them, so to speak, and that's become a bad word even, so we want authentic pictures, and we don't want AI to screw it up. So we would prefer not to have AI in our cameras, if that can be helped.
Time will tell.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of things that we are dealing with now, we never thought we'd be here. That we have. So we'll just have to stick around and see what happens. Yeah, back to our classic NIG omission. It's definitely a no. I'm glad that there are so many classic NIG lovers out there.
Yeah,
nice.
For those who use recipes, I would say classic negative is the second most popular film simulation for that. So classic chrome, far and away number one. Classic negative is probably number two, and then closely behind would be Reala Ace, nostalgic negative, and Acros.
Nice, awesome. Torsten thinks that many wonder why smartphones make bigger pictures out of the box, but would we do that from our cameras? Not me.
I think with the small sensor sizes inside of your cell phone, they do a lot of computational things to make the images appear better quality than the sensor really is probably capable of. So there's a lot of software engineering going on to get the most out of those tiny sensors. since our cameras have larger sensors, and the people who, if you generally have a real camera over a smartphone or something like that, you're generally thought to know what you're doing a little bit more than just somebody who just grabs it out and takes a photo. But I'll take this opportunity to do a shameless plug. I do have a iPhone camera app called Ritchie Cam. It's available in the App Store. If you have an iPhone and you want to use it, it's free to download and free to use. But yeah, look that up, Ritchie Cam in the Apple App Store. If you have an iPhone, download it and use it.
It's really
sorry.
Nope. That was the perfect plug at the perfect time. The flow was all yours for the taking. It's a really nice app. I have used it a lot. I love the different looks. It's definitely, in the same line of results that you get, that you're used to, recipes from the cameras. But I think apart from that, different strokes for different folks. I also understand people who just need to quickly take pictures. They are happy with them being so-so, but they want to not lug something else around, and then the phone is perfect. I deal with that in my family with my sister. She, when I'm there, she is almost embarrassed that she uses her phone in front of me, but it works for her. So that's what's most important. Oh, yes, Dan, you'll have to switch to Apple. I think so. Okay, there you go. Pilot Pete.
Oh, that's awesome.
Is using it. Very nice.
Nope. That's really cool.
Excellent. It is a very, very nice tool, and I'm glad you got to plug this here. Excellent. Well, if you guys are all out of comments and don't have any more thoughts, then we'll, move on. Or maybe there's a good opportunity now to just recap what we did. I think we dumped a little bit of technical stuff on you guys right in the beginning. But maybe should I do a little recap maybe?
Sure, let's recap.
what we thought and what we done. Let's just have a look at this comment here quickly before we do that. As one of the 3 people who still use their XH2, I'd love a film simulation dial on the next iteration. Well, there you go. Thank you. Thank you for being a lover of the dial. We'll see what happens.
And I do think there's a lot of people still using their XH2s. Going on photo walks and and that kind of stuff. I see it. I see people using their XH2s all the time.
Yes. No, absolutely. I think this question here is for you from Dan, Ritchie. How do you think?
I think it'll be interesting.
History will judge.
In 20 years from now, there probably will not be a film dial being used on any camera, most likely. The cameras evolve, they change, that kind of stuff. But what you'll see is, for those cameras that do have it, the 20 years in the future, you're going to have people looking back at it as like a retro kind of thing. So, like right now, people are using like 20-year-old digicams, and that kind of stuff, and it's for the nostalgic of it. So I think that it'll be like a hip kind of thing 20 years from now. People will be seeking out those cameras with the film dial, just for how cool it is in that time 20 years from now. Like they'll be looking at it and be like, wow, that was so awesome that they did that, and it's so unique, and look what you can do with it, and that kind of stuff. And people will be looking at it in that way. I think so that's my opinion. I think you have to think about like how people now are looking at 20-year-old digicams versus this feature on this camera now, 20 years from now, how people will look at it similarly.
Yes. Look, I mean, the fashion style of the 80s came back.
Yeah.
now that has happened, anything's possible, right? And Jerry says, will Fujifilm dare to put it on the X100? I personally would not like it as it would affect the design of the X100, which is iconic as of the first.
I think it'll be like the XE5. It'll be like that one.
Yes, I agree with you. I don't think that they would put a dial on top of it. I think they're very proud of what they have created with that camera. So I don't think they will tread very lightly there, I'm sure, as well.
And it could be, instead of a film dial, it could be like the film era dial or whatever it is that they're apparently working on.
Okay, Dustin. Sorry. Thank you for clarifying this.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, we're definitely camera people here, and we love the analog look.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
we're
what we're all
on
about.
the same page. Yeah.
Exactly. So let's.
Yeah, we don't want that. Yeah.
Sorry, Pilot's saying he's shooting a lot of behind the scenes on set with Ritchie Cam and shared with
that's
talent
cool.
with no editing. Cool, nice.
I need to find that. I need to. Where can we find your photos? Pilot Pete. Share us your Instagram.
You guys need to connect. I'm sure you guys can take this offline and connect and
Yeah.
and do that. Excellent. Yeah. Great stuff. So thank you all for all your comments and for your engagement here. That was really nice to get a different opinions or more insights as to what people think of the dial. So like I said, just to recap, we just wanted to, talk a little bit about it with the intention of introducing the set of recipes and encourage you to use those and shoot with them. Choose some, choose them all. If you have a camera with a dial, maybe you have programmed them into your camera already, or maybe, you're going to do that now, or maybe you're going out to buy a camera with a dial, or whatever it is that you choose to do, to make use of those recipes and try them out. We're not prescriptive as to which ones that you share with us. So, we're going away from 1 or 3 recipes to share with. Just try them out, see which ones you like most, and then share your favorite 3 images with us. So this is...
Yeah, and specifically, though, the universal negative recipe set, though, is what we're talking about.
Yes,
so,
absolutely. Thanks.
Yeah, not the X-T50 film dial recipe set, but specifically the universal negative one that we shared and linked to and so forth in this video.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for clarifying that. So you have until the 29th of December, so enough time to get all your holiday photos in. With that, upload them. The link is on the QR code in the comments as well as on the website. So don't miss out on the opportunity. Get cracking, pull out your camera, dial in those recipes, and let us know what you think. If you have any questions at any point about them, Ritchie and I are always here to help. Pop us a comment, and we will get you up and running in no time. And I don't know if there are any more questions that are not related to what we've been speaking about in anything other than AI, Torsten. Then you still have a couple more minutes. I'm glad it's lunchtime in New York. Thank you for enlightening us, Dan. I think we're all time warped out here. We weren't quite sure about what time it is earlier, or in the pre-show for that matter. And if you only tuned in a little bit later and you missed us talking about the pre-show or missed the pre-show altogether, we had a little bit of a casual chat in the beginning before the official start of the show. So after the live stream is finished, you can go back and watch that and catch up with us. And there goes Ritchie. All right. Anyway, I don't quite know what happened to him, but let's see. Are we still? We are still live. Okay, that's good. So I got a bit of a fright there for a second, but let's just wait and see if he comes back quickly. Sorry, Ritchie, just give us a shout. Oh, there he goes. I thought he had enough and exited early, but no, he didn't. He's back. Hello.
Yeah, it froze up on my end. I don't know what happened.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are we still on? Are we still live?
Yes, I think so.
Hi, everybody. Sorry for whatever that was. Yeah,
No,
it just totally. Yeah, it totally
good.
froze up, and I'm glad we're still going.
Well, you know what it was, Ritchie? We hit the 1 hour mark. So
Yeah.
it is time to wrap it up. And
Yeah.
that is perfectly cool. So you were just maybe 2 minutes too early.
Yeah. No. Yeah. It was very weird. It just like
Yeah.
totally
It
froze up,
happens.
and then it kicked me off and told me to reconnect,
Sorry.
and I was like, well, hopefully, got my fingers crossed, and.
Yes.
But
Well,
that that's the thing with live shows is that there's
okay.
always something. There's whenever you're doing a live production, there's going to be a hiccup of some sort,
Yes.
and that's what it was this time.
We didn't want to disappoint. Thank you, Ritchie. Alrighty, but I think we're all questioned out. We are, at the end of the show, we had a good discussion. It was really nice to reconnect with all of you. If you have any other question at any point, like I said, reach out to us. We can't wait to see what you are shooting. Jerry's getting another question in quickly there. He's asking,
yeah.
the universal recipes, are they also good for video?
You can use them for video. You can use any recipe for video, but there are some caveats in that that you don't have certain settings like color chrome effect blue, clarity, or grain. Those things don't apply. So it will look a little different. And interestingly enough, video recipes is something I've been working on and hopefully can announce in the coming months. A whole recipe specifically for video, and that'll be cool to get that out. But you can use any recipe with video. It just will look slightly different.
Yes, exciting times ahead. There we go. The control ring on the X100.
Control ring. That was the word I was trying to think of, and I couldn't. Control ring. Yeah. So that's what I did on the X106, and that's how. So any camera, it doesn't have to have the film dial on it. You can program some other function, some other button to work as a film dial for you.
Yes, it works brilliantly. It's a really good second option. Oh, it's a great pleasure, Hattie. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's been nice to have you, as it has been to have everyone else here today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. It feels like the last live show was yesterday, so it's been really nice to reconnect. Thanks for remembering us, for tuning in. I hope that you will all give the universal negative recipe set a try, and then upload your images. I will be more active on social media. I will make sure that you know where to upload your images. Go to the website from tomorrow and check it all out. And yeah, we can't wait to do it again sometime soon in the new year. We still have to discuss all of this, but we will be communicating that as soon as dates are fixed, etc.
Yep. Hopefully we can get that done, and maybe in a couple months we'll see you again.
Yes, that would be really cool. Thank you so much, Ritchie, for making the time, even though you are still feeling under the weather. I hope I wish you a speedy recovery. I hope you're back on your feet in no time.
And, thank you.
And you all have a wonderful day further, a great evening, and a lovely week ahead. And we will speak soon.
Sounds good. And a happy Thanksgiving to those celebrating that holiday.
Oh yeah, big holiday coming up. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You must enjoy that. Eat as much turkey as possible and everything else that you can get your hands on, and take pictures while doing so.
Lots of pictures.
All right. Okay, dogs. It's been a blast. Thank you all so much. Thank you, Ritchie. Thank you, everyone. And we will see you again soon sometime. Keep well.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Good night, and thank you for watching. We hope you enjoy the show.